Hello, social media world. Thank you for tuning into this solo episode with me, myself, and I. Today, I'm going to share with you the 5 lies of depression and what to do about them. For those of you who are unfamiliar with my story, I want to let you know that I played Division I football at Central Michigan University. I probably had struggled with depression a lot growing up, being rejected as a child for talking too proper, being labeled as a black kid that talked and act white. Let me put my mask away. And really just being a goofy weirdo. Like I don't know. I'm still weird. And it was something about being made fun of, being teased, that started this belief that who I wasn't enough to be liked or loved by others. Sports was a great way to mask that. A lot of athletes use sports to deal with issues at home and life. It's a good outlet, and I used it in the same way as for other reasons. And when I went through my whole story that you guys have probably heard, not go watch my TEDx talk, Overcoming Rejection. I talk about my battle with opioid addiction, talk about my struggle in college after my back surgery. But when I really had to face the darkness of depression was once I transitioned out of sports and they terminated my liability waiver because my opioid addiction was just too bad. And my girlfriend, who I was dating for 4.5 years, left me and got engaged to another man. I was forced to deal with the depression that had been there all along. I just had been trying to ignore it. And that's when I began many of the suicidal ideations, many of the suicide attempts, and led me down this deep, dark road of depression. And obviously, I lived to tell the story. And since I've founded Second Chance Athletes and have been a pastor and have also been a mental health advocate, I've talked to a lot of people who also have mental illness or struggle with anxiety, depression, PTSD. I mean, you name it. But I specifically want to cover in this episode what I see as common lies of depression. Okay. And typically when a person is dealing with depression, these 5 lies I've discovered are present. And what I want to do is just cover them really quickly, but also give you practical strategies on how I've overcome those lies in my life or coped with those lies in my life. And I also wrote an article that got featured on Athlete Network. I would encourage you guys to go read it. We'll drop that in the chat, or you can go to athletenetwork.com and search their blog minus the last blog post that they featured. And I cover more personal story and these lies and details, but I wanted to do this video. And also, if you stick around and you engage, I want to give you a discount code to get this Write One Line Artesian Leather Journal. And so it's got our Second Chance Athletes logo branded on it. And what it is a good tool to help you begin the process of living more mentally healthy. If you want to better manage your time, if you want to better manage your money, if you want to better manage your thought life, it starts with inventory. And so journaling is a great practice to do that, just like budgeting is, just like actually scheduling your calendar and tracking your time is the same way with your mental health. You cannot fix what you're unwilling to confront. So Write One Line is a brand that helps you with journal prompts. You set a timer for 60 seconds. You write one line each day, and you begin the habit of taking inventory of your thought life so you can live more mentally healthy. It's not enough to just insert positive thinking or try to make declarations of yourself. You've got to figure out what is going through your mind and how to process it and deal with some of the stuff that we've all been through. Okay. So feel free to share, host a watch party. I'm going to cover these. Hopefully this training is about 15 minutes, if I can keep it together. Okay. Because obviously it's important. And I'm doing this solo episode because it's Suicide Prevention Month, and because I'm doing a challenge with Chris Gronkowski and the one Ice Shaker brand. Sorry, I was going to say Right One Line, but Right One Line is a part of it too. Athlete Network, Right One Line, and Chris Gronkowski and the Ice Shaker brand and Second Chance Athletes all partnered up to really raise awareness around suicide prevention during Suicide Prevention Month, right? And what we do, we're giving away Ice Shaker, well, 2 Ice Shakers, a girl version and a boy version. So if you win and you're a girl or boy, you can give the other one away. It'll be a good gift. And then we're giving away one of these artesian leather journals, and then we're giving away an iPhone 11. You got to go over to Instagram to be a part of the challenge. All you got to do is follow all of our pages, and then you get an additional entry for every person that you tag. So hold on one second. So if you go over to Instagram, you'll see my post, Right One Line, and go over to there, and you just, you follow those pages, and then you comment, and then and anytime you tag someone, you get additional entries. It's a brand new iPhone 11, not refurbished, and we are putting our money where our mouth is because we want to incentivize people to write one line per day, to take one step towards their physical health, and to make one phone call to someone that they love and check in on them. Okay. And I learned this from one of my friends. I was gonna say Sean. She said sometimes you got to check in on your strong friends too. Oftentimes, people we look up to, people we admire, people who are always like strong and leaders, we don't tend to think that they struggle with any type of challenges. But oftentimes, it's because they're leaders, because they're role models, they get hit the hardest with these lies. And so, just be intentional about reaching out to people, seeing how they're doing, asking them, is there any way you can support them on their journey, lighten their load, because we need our leaders to stay strong during these times. Okay, so here we go. The 5 lies of depression. Number 1, no one really cares about you, and you don't matter. This was probably the first lie I had to face because I had so many people surrounding me during my athletic career that only liked me, loved me, connected with me because I was a good athlete. So they would ask me about my family. They would ask me about my personal life. They would ask me about my goals, my dreams, my ambitions. They would talk to me about my games. And then I was done being an athlete, and then no one talked to me. Well, some people, but still, like, it was like all these people that wanted my autograph and wanted to be interviewed with me, like, they just went silent. All the coaches who used to check in on me, hey, Stance, how you doing? Nothing. And that's when I was like, man, I guess I don't matter outside of sports. And for you, it might not be sports. For you, it might be a job that you recently lost, and all your coworkers was always checking in on you, seeing how you were doing. You got to see them every day in the office, and now you've been quarantined and nobody's checking in on you, and you are tempted to believe the lie that you don't matter and nobody cares about you. Here's what I learned is when I was facing this lie, what the lie wants you to do is throw out little hints that you're struggling with depression. So you won't come out and say, hey, I'm struggling. I'm having suicidal thoughts. I feel like I don't want to be here anymore. Instead of saying that, you'll just be like, well, I'm going through a tough time. And the problem with that is that vulnerability is a Batman signal for love. The more vulnerable you are, the more people will rush to the occasion to help you. You can't get suicide help when all you're sending out is, I'm having a down day call or signal. Okay. So if you're really going through it and you're just kind of like dumbing it down because you don't want to burden anybody, but then you're using their lack of attention and efforts to help you to validate the lie that you don't think they really care about you, because if they really cared about you, they would be doing more. They would be calling you more. Don't blame them. Inventory yourself first. Have you been fully transparent and vulnerable? And that's what I did. I was successful as an athlete, and I was throwing out these little hints. Like, if they really cared about me, they would pick up on the fact that my energy's low. They would pick up on the fact that I'm struggling in my mind. Like, they would just know, like they're psychic or something. When in reality, they did care about me. I did matter. I just had to show somebody I was hurting so I could be helped. You cannot be fully loved unless you are fully known. And so if you're fighting suicidal ideations, if you're fighting depression, you have to be vocal about your struggle. I said this on a podcast the other day, and I said this person, I don't know if it was Chris Gronkowski or somebody else, but they had a pretty big platform, and they started asking me about mental health, suicide prevention, and we got there. We talked about the real thoughts that comes through people's mind, and one of the things that came up that I said to him was this aspect of me writing my suicide letter, right? And that's like a very embarrassing thing to admit, that I was that low, or me swallowing a whole bottle of opioid pills. But after we got done with this interview, he thanked me for my transparency, my vulnerability. I thanked him for normalizing the mental health conversation. And I use this example that I share with you. I said, we have to start normalizing mental health conversations, because then more people will come out and speak about it, right? And so, think about, like, if you ever been to a church service, or you ever been to like a funeral, and everybody's sitting down. Nobody wants to be the person to stand up, because it's not normal to do so. And that's how we have been treating mental health challenges. Like, nobody wants to come out and talk about mental health because it's not the normal thing to do. And we have to make it the normal thing to do. So that's why I need you to share this video. That's why I need you to host a watch party, because when we start normalizing this conversation, all of a sudden, what was not approved of, what was the black sheep, what was like the thing you don't talk about or bring up, is the thing that is now normal for people to be open and honest and transparent about their struggle, so they can finally get the love that they need, the care that they need, and break the lie that they don't matter, because they will actually see that people do care and are willing to reach out with them if they're vulnerable and the conversation is normal. Okay, let's move on to number two, because I could stay there all day. Number two, the future is meaningless and will be unfulfilling. Okay, so whether that's a past relationship, for me it was sports. I didn't think that there was anything that would fulfill me like sports once did. There was nothing like the band playing and high-fiving and the camaraderie and the chest bumps and shooting a game-winning play. There was no feeling like that. It wasn't that I didn't think I could be successful at anything else. It's that I didn't think that I would be fulfilled by anything else. And that is a lie of depression. It'll tell you that the past is more fulfilling than your future. It will tell you that there's nothing to look forward to. You have nothing, like your life is not going to be worth continuing to live in. And it is a lie. It is a lie. You know why? Because depression doesn't know your future. And everything you were, you are becoming today. Everything you were, you are becoming today. Everything you were, you're taking into your today. And it's almost like if you were, let's say you were a 5, because you learned something throughout your life and you became a 5. Just because you're going through depression doesn't mean you're like a 4 or 3 or 2. Doesn't mean that you take a 5 into your future. And then you become a 6 and a 7 and an 8. Because every lesson learned makes you that much better, that much stronger. You're not, I'm going to get ahead of myself. Who cares? You're not weak because you have a struggle. You're actually strong because you're surviving the fight. And you're bringing that into your today, and you're taking that into your tomorrow. And I don't know, it might not be sports. For some of you, it might be sports, because a lot of people aren't getting the opportunity to play in college or to play pro right now. For you, it might be sports. For you, it might be a relationship. Maybe you're on your second or third marriage and you feel like, man, there's not going to be a marriage that actually fulfills me. My future relationship life is pointless as meaning. Maybe you lost your dream job during COVID and now you're forced to find a different career path. And you're like, man, I don't know. I spent my whole life doing this career. I don't think anything else is going to fulfill me like that. I don't know what it is for you. But I want to tell you that your future being meaningless and that it won't be fulfilling is a lie. The truth of the matter is that your future will be fulfilling, that depression doesn't know your future, but God does. Let me tell you this quick story, real quick. Because when I was going through depression, the pain was so bad I couldn't see past the pain into my future, right? All I could see is the future through the lens of my pain. So the future looked just like what I was experiencing right now. But now that I'm on the other side of depression, now that I survived suicide, now that I'm living the life that I once tried to end, let me tell you what happened to me today. Today I woke up, I'm gonna read it. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning today to this message on Instagram. I'm just gonna read it because I want you guys to receive it how I did. She said, "Hey, this is some lady name. I can't even pronounce her name. Hey, just wanted to tell you that somewhere in cold, effed up Germany, a Kazakh girl is sitting and grieving about life. And your TED talk really helped me to start my day and feel, listen, that there is a chance to change. Thank you so much. Wish you a blessed life and keep inspiring others." When I was in the middle of my depression, I could have never thought that that would happen, that somebody across the world would watch a message that I sent out and would have hope. Depression doesn't show you your future. It lies to you about what your future can be. And let me just tell you, I don't know your gifts, don't know your talents, don't know your calling, don't know your passion, but I know that your future is brighter than your past. I know that the pain you're experiencing right now is only temporary, and that if you hang in there, you don't quit, you don't let the lie push you into a deeper, darker hole of depression, that you will experience the fruit of your struggle. I tell you what, I hated going through it, but I love talking about it now. I love getting messages like this. I love doing live streams like this. I love the people that are going to message me and say, "Oh my God, that's exactly what I need to hear." I love that. You know why? Because it was the help that I needed. Let's go to number 3. So number 1, no one really cares about you. Number 2, the future is meaningless and will be unfulfilling. Number 3, you'll never heal from your pain. I said this in the blog post, but I said this is the only one of the 5 lies that has an ounce of truth in it, because it is true that you may never heal from your pain. I'm gonna say that again. It is true that you'll never heal from your pain. Let me give you an example. I know I'm a pastor, and I believe in complete like freedom and deliverance. I believe that you can be emotionally abused as a child or a husband or a wife, and that God can completely eradicate that pain, like vanish it. I believe that. But I also know that sometimes, although the the wound isn't open and it's healed, the scar is still there, the memory is still there, and something can trigger the memory, right? Like I still see a counselor today, and there's sometimes where the counselor will ask a certain question and boom, triggers something that happened to me as a child, instantly takes me back, and I feel the pain, and I'm like, man, I thought that was gone. In my marriage, sometimes my wife will say something, or it doesn't even have to be an argument. She can just say something that presses on the button, right? And it's an old wound that she hit on, and it's there. I'm like, man, I thought I was over this. I thought I was over the X 3 times removed, but that just made me feel like I was wounded again. Like, I wasn't mad at my wife. I was mad at 3 girlfriends ago. So the truth is that maybe some wounds won't heal, but here's the reality. Here's what's even more true, is that the pain might not heal, but you'll always get stronger. That's what depression doesn't want to tell you. Depression will overestimate the pain and underestimate the power you have over the pain. So maybe you can never forget when you were molested as a child. Maybe it's not something that traumatic. Maybe it's just the fact that like there was high standards in your family and you were an all-A student and then you got your first B and that was painful to you, how your family treated you. And maybe that's still there. Maybe it's painful to you that you were one of the first ones to get let go of your job when you thought your position was secure. Maybe you're tempted to believe the lie of depression that says that you'll never heal from that pain. Can I tell you it's a lie? Can I tell you that you can heal from the pain? And if the pain don't heal, you'll always get stronger. Hang in there, my friend. Hang in there, my friend. Next one. Number 4. You're weak because you struggle. Oh, I hate this one. I used to, early in my days of sharing my story, I used to share, I used to say that when I went through like all of the things that I did, you know, drinking and driving, taking pills, mixing pills with alcohol, trying to overdose, like all the things that I did to attempt suicide, I used to say I never had the guts to pull the trigger. And people used to go, oh, yeah, I understand. And I stopped saying that because I was portraying my unwillingness and inability to grab a gun and pull the trigger to my head as a weakness instead of a strength. Wrong perspective. It actually took more strength not to quit when I wanted to than it did to throw in the towel. Everyone's seen the Rocky movie, right? Like everyone know, we all love those scenes in Iron Man or Avengers where the good guys are getting beat up and it seems like they're going to lose and the bad guys winning. We all are cheering for the good guys. We're cheering, Rocky, get up. And we see it. We love those stories because we see the person that's getting beat up and keeps getting back up as being a person of extreme strength. That is the mentality that we have to start viewing people that are going through mental illness and mental challenges and suicide ideation. We have to start seeing them not as people of weakness, but of people of tremendous strength who is getting beat up by lies in their mind. They're getting weighed down by thoughts. They're heavy. They don't feel like getting up anymore. They don't feel like eating. They don't feel like self-caring, but yet they keep fighting anyways. My friend, my son, my daughter, my girl, my boy, let me tell you that if you are fighting for your life, if you feel like you want to throw in the towel and you've been tempted to believe the lie that you are weak, I want to tell you that you're not weak. You're actually strong. You are Rocky. You can still be Superman and have kryptonite. You're tougher than you realize. Keep fighting. I wish I would have known that because I felt so weak when I was struggling. I felt so defeated. I wish I would have known how strong I was. That depression kept throwing punches and I kept throwing back. That every time I got up and I took a shower, I was fighting back. That every time I sent a text message asking for help, that I was fighting back. Because depression was lying to me, telling me it had me whipped, when really I was the one who was whipping its tail. Next time you talk to somebody who's struggling with depression and they hang their head and they're looking all low and embarrassed because they're struggling, you make sure you tell them you're stronger than what you think. You're not weak. You're a warrior. Next lie. Last lie. There's nothing special about you. Don't you hate it when people say, do what you're called to do. You're created for great things. You're going to do amazing things. And here you are sitting there thinking there's nothing special about me. And depression will tell you that you're not unique. Depression will tell you that you're nothing special. Depression will tell you that you don't matter because you're average and there's nothing unique about you. It is a lie. It is probably one of the biggest lies of depression. Let me tell you a couple of ways you're unique. Now, I don't know who all is watching this or will be watching this. I might know you. You might be one of my social media stalkers. You might have been invited to watch this video. But here's what I know about everyone that's tuning in. You're special. You don't believe me? Look at your fingerprint. Look. Can y'all see my fingerprint? It's out of focus. See that? Can't really see my fingerprint. What if I touch the camera? No, that doesn't work. Just pretend you saw my fingerprint. There's not another one like it. There'll never be another one like it. If I had a twin, which I don't, their fingerprint wouldn't be the same. I'm unique. So are you. Nobody laughs like you, looks like you, cries like you, feels like you, believes like you, has the unique combination of talents that you have. Sometimes the reason why we feel like we're not unique is because we keep comparing ourselves to other people. I'm a speaker, but I'm not as good of a speaker as them, so I'm not really gifted or unique. Has nothing to do with your. Listen, I tell people this all the time because I'll speak and then I'll like train up other people to speak and stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't have any powerful, like heartfelt story like yours," and I'm like, "Great." Number one, I hope my daughter has a story like yours. I don't want my daughter to be going through drug addiction and selling drugs and doing a bunch of bad stuff. Nobody wants that story. Stop glorifying that stuff. I want to have a story like yours. You've been pretty much good all your life. But here's the thing. You can reach people that I can't reach. You can touch people, inspire people that I can't touch or inspire because your story is unique. Because the way that you're combined together is unique. There's a bunch of 6'5" people in the world like Darryll Stinson. There ain't a bunch of 6'5" people in the world like Darryll Stinson with this gap. You want to know why I'm laughing so hard? Because there was a time where I would look in the mirror and I would hate this gap. I hate it. I say, man, you're ugly. That gap needs to go away. God hated you. Why did he give you some big gap? Nobody else in your family got a gap like that. Then I used to be in class and I smile and some of them little mean kids would see my gap. They'd be like, "Hey, Darryll, let me kick a field goal through your gap." Little kids is hurtful, ain't they? I remember I was doing a addiction recovery meeting and I had my friend Yawandi with me. She's from Nigeria. And I started telling people that story about how I used to get made fun of for this gap. And she said, "Really?" She said, "In Nigeria, the size of your gap usually indicates which tribe you are from. And it's actually a point of celebration, not a point of mockery." And I was like, "What? You mean to tell me that I can change environments and what was hated would be celebrated?" Wow. Wow. You mean to tell me if I wasn't comparing myself to Americans and I was comparing myself to Nigerians, that I wouldn't be struggling with that depression and hatred of self-image? Wow. So I could stay the same, but my perspective could change and my self-energy and confidence could change. Same is true for you. Stop comparing yourself to other people. You know, the crazy thing about that story is I did a ancestry DNA and actually found out that I am majority Nigerian. So here I am being depressed about something that would be celebrated in my homeland. Your homeland might not be Nigeria. Your homeland might be a different job. Maybe you were hated at this job. You'll be celebrated at this job. My point is this: stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop judging whether you're special or not based upon whether people affirm you or not. And just know that it is a fact. It is a truth that you are unique. Your fingerprint, your combination, the different things that God put you together, like the fact that my hairline's halfway receded here, and I got this wide nose and this big gap and this bright smile and these ashy hands. I'm unique. What I'm trying to do is get you to stop looking in the mirror and seeing how overweight you are, all your flaws, all the things you don't like, all the mistakes you made. And I want you to look in the mirror and know you're fearfully and wonderfully made. I want you to look in the mirror and see what's right with you, not what's wrong with you. Because that is how you practice self-love. That is how you break that lie that you're not unique. There's nothing special about you. So, those are the 5 lies of depression. Share this post. Go check out the article and participate in the giveaway on Instagram. If you're struggling and you don't know how you're going to make it through this season, if you're worried about the presidential election, the economy, you name it, your family, your children, let me tell you a bonus 6 lie. A bonus 6 lie says this: you're not going to make it. And I'll end this with telling you the truth, that you will. That's it. Thank you.